Good morning. Well, is it morning still? Yeah, for right now. Good morning, beautiful people. How are y'all doing today? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Trey. I guess he's
Good
on mute.
morning. How y'all doing?
Blessed and highly favored. How about you?
I'm
So,
eating donuts.
eating donut. It'd be the snacks for me. I'm eating a piece of I ain't gonna tell y'all what I'm eating. Hey, Ebru. Welcome, y'all. Good morning. Thank y'all so much for joining me this morning for this live. Shout out to all of my mods, E Brooks, Key Maj, Cammy Cam. I think that's it. And of course, Trey. Shout out to, oh, excuse me, y'all. Shout out to Lady DMV. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for supporting the channel. I do
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
the super chat and the members, y'all. Thank you. I saw that, Lady DMV. You so nice. Thank you.
I'm eating a piece of cam. Mm-hmm. I'm eating a piece of pizza.
Are you gonna do the 4 Mexican pizza challenge or not?
I'm like, listen, Trey. Way back in the day, about 2 years ago, I had people asking me would I ever do a mukbang. Now, I wish it was a pork chop slaying. I wish it was, but Trey, you ain't shit. And I told the people like, no, you probably would never see me do a mukbang because first of all, I don't eat enough food in one sitting to do a mukbang, okay? And I definitely don't do challenges. That shit to me, I mean, I get it. Like I support those that can do it, and probably if I could do it, I would. But what's the point of me doing a challenge when I know?
What about the cotton candy challenge? You can eat 3 buckets of cotton candy.
See, the way I eat cotton candy, the way my mind set up, and the way I eat cotton candy, I wouldn't be able to do it on live. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Just won't work for my channel. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. One can't do it. Can't do it. Mm-mm. I only eat cotton candy one type of way, and I can't do it on live. So it is what it is.
Okay, what about the Sprite challenge? You gotta drink
Look
a
what
six
they
pack of
call.
Sprite in 7 minutes.
Mm-mm. I don't drink soda.
And you just got an excuse for every damn thing.
No excuses, just reasons. You gotta respect it. I don't drink soda.
The hot pickle and boiled peanut challenge. You gotta eat 3 pickles and 2 bags of peanuts in 10 minutes.
Mm-mm. 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 Can't do it. Can't do it. I'm gonna figure a challenge out I can do, and I'm gonna have to just come with it because I feel like you're trying to the underwater ball. I can absolutely do that, Eboost, but I couldn't put it on the channel. So what's the use of doing
How
it?
do we go from food to balls underwater? What is wrong with y'all?
It is what it is, Trey. I can absolutely do that, and we'll win it. But
E. Brooks, since you talking, take the damn taco challenge, ma'am. mm. All right, y'all. This is part two. I guess it is part two, huh? I don't know if I named this right. Is this part two? Let me see. Let me make sure my title is correct. Yeah, I guess episode two. We still on part two though of the I think we're still on. Let me see what part we on as far as the video. Yeah, we on part two. Okay. All right, y'all. So listen. So welcome back. Y'all hit that like button. Let me see what my lights looking like. Let me see what my lights are looking like. I got 51 people in the house and I got 33 likes. Thank y'all so much for the likes. Please continue to hit that like button if you don't mind. Also, please feel free to support the channel. Hit that cash out. Let your girl know you appreciate this hashtag content that matters. Okay? Hey, Slay. I'm in the palm tree. Okay, get some rest, sweetie. Keep us posted. Brooke said, nah, I could do the cotton candy. y'all are me. Dear me, E. Brooks, what you talking about? I bet you can't do the challenge. You can't wait for me, Margie. Thank you for appreciating the commentary, Miss Margie. I honestly thank you for that. Thank you for dropping that concrete. Thank you. Y'all remember to keep up sending up prayers for our slay, our beautiful sis, our slay. Also, Sister Commander Nina Ross. Y'all send up prayers for her. And also send up a special prayer for Funberry, who's traveling and yeah, she's over in some foreign lands. So y'all send up prayers for her as well. Okay.
Truth, truth, come correct said, do the smoke sausage challenge, whatever that is.
I can do that too. And also send up prayers for continue to send up prayers for our sister Amazing Blessed. Okay, y'all continue to send up prayers for her as well. Our sister Lucius. I've been getting my prayer list together because I want to come back with my prayer list, and I'm beginning it together. So I'm mentioning people that I remember putting on there. But next week we're gonna start our prayer list back, y'all, because there's so many true sippers that's in need of prayer. Good morning, Coco. I ain't listening while I get my nails done with my daughters. Okay then, girl. Girls' day out. I
Can
feel
I do
you.
the announcements? When you doing? Can I do the announcement? I want to be in charge.
Absolutely, Trey. So yeah. I'm gonna bring that back, y'all. We used to have that back in the day, and that's how I would keep up with all the true siblings that needed a little special prayer from us. And I think I'm gonna start it back. And I've been compiling my list. So yeah, those are the ones I remember off top. So yeah, y'all do that for your girl, okay? All right, so let's get into it. We still on as y'all know, we have been reviewing or reacting to however you want to put it to this podcast channel, which is a very, very good channel. E. Brooks, one of the moms, either one of y'all, can y'all please put the link in the chat for the Murdock Murders podcast? Okay, that is where we're getting these videos from, y'all, and this is a very, very good channel. Has a lot of videos with a lot of information. We are continuing part two. This is part two of the Murdock Murders podcast. Who killed Stephen Smith? I bagged it up just an inch from where we ended on yesterday, and that's where we're gonna start today. Okay, I will be dropping the link. Miles, grab this link. Let's see, and please put it in the chat for anybody that wants to hit the link and come on up. You are so welcome. Let's see. Y'all, 23 people died in that storm we was talking about last night in Mississippi. So, y'all, please send up a prayer for the people in Mississippi if you don't mind. Appreciate
Is
that.
old girl still going live after this morning?
Huh?
I said, this old gal on the dirt road wanted to, she been live today?
I have no clue. You already know that. I don't know. Don't know.
Thank you, Miss Margie, for the super chat and the stuff. You get all the supporters. You on your other channel and you still getting the support. You
Yes,
got
I
more
do.
super chats than CMA already. Oh my goodness. You think I got to be a sipper. Tell me your
Thank you.
secret.
Thank you, Miss Marge. I appreciate the support, sweetheart, as always. Troy, I'm not playing with you today.
I'm just saying, truth. They don't know what real support is, and you every time you go live, you get super chats and members and stuff. I'm just saying, they ain't like that.
That's
You
what
got to
happened.
thank the people.
I honestly thank my true siblings. I do. I honestly do. I appreciate them. They do support me. Um. So yeah, I can't with Trey, y'all. Let's get
I'm gonna
into
do a
the
praise dance. Every time y'all send one, I'm gonna do a little praise chant, y'all. Okay, send them super
no
chats.
first. Thank you, Kimon. Thank you for dropping that link, sweetie. Y'all hit that link and go check this channel out. If you're very, very interested in this case, they got some really good videos, y'all, that we're not gonna be able to get to. I mean, it's just a lot of information. So y'all go over there and check that channel out. And we're gonna get started. We're gonna continue part two of Who Killed Stephen Smith. So y'all please be sure to hit that like button, get these videos in the algorithm, and also feel free to hit the Cash App and support this hashtag commentary or content that matters. Okay, here we go, y'all.
So now that we've told you about evidence in the case or lack thereof, we want to get into the interviews. On August 7th, 2015, South Carolina Highway Patrol investigator Corporal Michael E. Duncan calls Stephen's friend, who we will call Brittany in this podcast. We changed Brittany's voice due to the sensitive nature of this topic.
Let me kind of go over a couple of things, just a little information that I got, and you can either confirm or not sure. She told me yesterday, she called me yesterday, or it might have been the day before, but she said, matter of fact, it was on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, that she was at church and that both of y'all had spoken about Stephen's death, about Buster Murdock. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Kind of tell me what you told her about that.
I told her that another friend of mine had texted me asking me if Buster and Stephen were together, and I told him no. I said not that I knew of, and then I asked him.
Shout out to Tamara. Thank you, Tamara, for supporting the channel. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it.
Thank you for that super chat and then cash out Tamara. She gonna go and get her stuff. She gonna go get her a Coke and a couple of dollars on pump 3 with it. Thank you.
Y'all just gotta love my drops. All right, here we go, y'all. Thank you, boo.
And why? He said because he had heard that, and then I asked him who he heard it from, and he said he didn't know. He just heard it.
Okay, so he didn't have any anything to base that upon, just except for more or less a rumor. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Had you ever heard of Stephen and Buster being involved with at all before this?
No, sir, I haven't.
So this was the first time you'd ever heard about something like this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you know Stephen at all?
Yes, sir, he was my best friend.
Okay, and did you know Stephen was gay?
I did.
Duncan asked who Brittany heard this rumor from, and Brittany said she heard it from a guy who we will call Jack in this podcast. Later that day, Duncan makes a note of the rumor that Brittany told him about in the investigation file. This is the first time he ever wrote down the Murdock name, even though he had heard it in 2 previous interviews. A couple days later, on August 10, 2015, Duncan notes that Jack's father has called him and wanted to know what was going on. This is a reminder that we are dealing with teenagers here, very young. All of these kids are around 19 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
August 11, 2015, Jack calls Duncan.
Hello. This is Corporal Duncan again.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me pull up this paperwork. Let me kind of go over a couple of things with you real quick, and how your name kind of brought about. Long story short, you supposedly sent a text. So let me go just kind of go in this. Do you know Stephen Smith?
So Jack is the guy that supposedly sent Brittany, who is Stephen's best friend, supposedly sent her a text saying he heard that not Paul, but Buster and Stephen were in a relationship or had something going on, right? So now this officer is contacting Jack, and this is who he's interviewing right now. Okay.
Yeah, he was my classmate.
All right. And did you send that text to?
What was the text exactly?
Let me pull that up. Let me turn my computer or get it unlocked real quick. All right. It says if Buster Murdock ever had any type of relationship with Stephen.
Yes.
Did you send that text?
Yes, sir.
And then the question was asked back.
Jizzle, hey, bro, love you. Just text me. Just text me or call me when I get out this live. Okay? I'm praying for you, bro.
How did you know about that? Where are you getting that information from?
It was a rumor.
Rumor?
Yes, sir. I mean, I've heard it. I knew she was best friends with Steve, so I just asked.
Okay. And so you heard it through just like people that you know, or just people in general? All right. Any information that you know, do you know any information about whether that's true or not?
No, not at all.
Not at all. All right. Do you know anything about Stephen's death?
No, sir.
Thank you, Leslie.
Nobody's come to you and brought any information to you other than what the question you asked. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What have you heard otherwise? Have you heard any other rumors?
Nothing, no, sir.
So the only rumor you heard is possibly Buster having some type of relationship with Steven.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And how long ago was that? Do you recall when that was?
I do not. A few weeks ago, maybe.
Was it after or before his death?
After.
Okay, so it was after Steven had died.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else that you got that I need to know about? Anything at all?
No, sir.
While doing a background search on Jack, we noticed that he was facing 2 different lawsuits from the Murdock law firm. Attorney John E. Parker, a powerful, well-known firm partner, filed 2 car accident lawsuits against Jack just 2 weeks after Steven's death. The lawsuits were both dismissed in 2016. I am noting this only because this is something that I found during my reporting, and I have not yet found an explanation for the timing. It could be nothing, but it's worth mentioning in case any listeners can shed light on this. At the very least, it shows just how small of a web we're dealing with in Hampton County, and just how much of that web is covered by the Murdock family law firm. A couple weeks pass, and not much happens with the investigation. On August 27, 2015, Duncan interviews a man who we will call Ben over the phone. The day before, Sandy Smith told Duncan that this man had information on Steven's death. Unfortunately, the interview really doesn't go anywhere. The man doesn't say that much, but he does mention a rumor that he heard.
And now let me ask you this. Have you heard anything strange about how Steven died or any rumors or anything like that?
What I heard was they said he was running from somebody.
Said he was running from?
Yeah, he was running in the woods from a guy, like he was running from somebody in the woods.
Now, who'd you hear that? Did you hear that from Steven's mama?
No, I heard this from my classmates.
Okay, all right. And did they even describe who it may have been?
Yeah, they said it was an older guy he was running from.
Okay.
And we was trying to figure out who he was running from. And we was like, maybe it was some guy he was messing with that nobody knew of, and I guess Steven was going to bring him out or something like that. That's what we thought.
Okay.
The next day, Lance Corporal Conley interviews a man, we will call him Joe, who lives on Hilton Head. He called Joe after Sandy Smith found a gate pass for a Hilton Head gated community with Joe's name on it. This gate pass was found inside Steven's car, which was supposed to be searched for evidence by police. And Steven's mom was the only one to find this pass. For those of you who aren't familiar, a visitor to one of Hilton Head's gated communities must obtain a gate pass in order to enter. This usually means stopping by a gatehouse, producing an ID, and telling an armed guard whose house you're going to visit. Then you are provided a gate pass to enter the community. This man that the Highway Patrol interviews called in a gate pass for Steven 10 days prior to his death, and the pass was still in the car with his name on it. The forensics team must have missed this, and Steven's mom must have been the only one who cared enough to examine this, call the source, and motivate investigators to follow up on this lead. Even then, investigators still pretty much brushed past this interview. Joe was an older man and recently divorced. He said that he met Steven online, but said no money was exchanged in their encounter. Joe said that he doesn't do this kind of thing often. He said that they hooked up on June 28th, but it was a one-night stand. Joe said that he texted Steven a few times after that and didn't realize that he passed away until after he was contacted by Sandy. Now, keep in mind that investigators just heard the day before that there were rumors that Steven was running from an older guy when he was killed, a guy that he possibly had hooked up with. And then they meet a man who fits this description, and they don't even bother to ask him for an alibi. So who knows if there's any truth to this older man rumor whatsoever. But all of this shows sloppy police work at the very least. A couple days later, an investigator named Todd Proctor steps in. Proctor interviews a man, and we'll call him Kevin, and the investigation takes another turn.
But I'll tell you, my office is out of Charleston, so I have no ties to Hampton. There's no big name in Hampton that worries me, and I want you to feel at ease about that as well. Because I've heard that this name, people associated with this name have been going around kind of threatening or putting the heat on people, saying, keep your mouth closed if you heard something, whatever.
And the conversation gets very interesting.
First we heard he was shot. Then we heard it was a hit and run. But recently, probably a week and a half ago, I'd say something like that, I heard that these 2, maybe 3 young men were in a vehicle. They were riding down 601, saw the car on the side of the road. I guess saw the boy walking. They turned back around. I guess they were attempting to, I don't want to say, mess around with him or something like that, and stuck something out the window, and it, hit him in, I don't know if it hit him in the head or the back.
The thing about it is the story that this guy is telling is pretty much the way, that they're assuming that it happened. And the thing about it is, like, you can't make this, for somebody to tell a story that pretty much coincides with what the people are saying, is you have to put some credence to it. Like, this guy is saying the same thing that others are saying, and he's in a whole different, like, I don't know, area. Let's listen, y'all.
Back or where it hit him, and then that's pretty much all I heard. I did hear names, and I heard a name. That name was, he goes by Buster Murdock.
And everybody is saying Buster Murdock is the name that keeps coming. Buster Murdock is the name that keeps coming up, y'all, with all these witness interviews and all these witness interviews. So I think that's the end of that one. Let me make sure.
So there's a lot more to this interview and others, but there's just not enough time in this episode. So stay tuned for part 3 of Who Killed Stephen Smith, and be sure to check out fitsnews.com, where you can see crime scene photos and read interviews from this case. For the latest updates in all of these cases, subscribe to fitsnews.com. And to support our mission, go to murdockmurderspodcast.com. So all
right, so that's the end of part 2, y'all. Let's go. We're gonna go into, for the rest of this live, we're gonna go into part 3. Let me pull it up. Thank y'all so much for joining this live today. Be sure to hit the like button if you don't mind. Give me a second. Let me put it up. I should have pulled it up before I came on, but let's see. See what y'all saying in the chat. Thank you, Midlady Sunflower. Girl, I be trying. I really do. I'm just slowly but surely getting into this. Who killed Stephen? Oh shoot! What is this thing doing? Okay. Let's see. I'm finding it, y'all. Part 3. I don't know why I ain't pulled this episode up. I forgot we was. All right, here we go. It's so much with this case. Yes, it is, Tamara. It's a lot, girl. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so now we're into Murdock Murders podcast, and y'all be sure to drop that link for me if you don't mind. Who Killed Stephen Smith? Part 3. Okay. So y'all got any questions so far? Put them in the chat, and I'll try my best to answer them. Okay.
I don't know who killed Stephen Smith, but I know his family has waited 2,258 days to get justice.
Thank you.
And I'm determined to expose the truth and get answers for them. My name is Mandy Matney. I'm the news director for fitsnews.com, and I've been investigating the Murdock family for more than 2 years now. This is the Murdock Murders podcast. There have been a lot of shocking developments in the strange shooting of Alec Murdock. From my reporting, it's fair to call the shooting suspicious due to his attorney's strangely inconsistent statements about what happened on September 4th, 2021. In the days following, everything got weirder. Alec issued an apology and admitted to having a drug problem and admitted to having money problems. A few hours after that, his law firm blamed him for misappropriating millions of dollars, and he has apparently entered rehab. I say this because there's no proof he's in rehab, but his lawyer, who's provided lots of false statements recently, claims that he is in rehab. He was also suspended from practicing law. He pretty much admitted to misappropriating millions of dollars. Also, the knife that was used to puncture Alec's tires before he was shot has been linked back to Alec Murdock, according to Fitz News sources. So it's safe to say it's been a very bad week for Alec Murdock. A lot of people say this is like watching a dynasty fall in real time. But we're going to wait for the 911 call to come out to do a full episode on the Alec Murdock shooting. So I recommend you guys to go to fitznews.com for the latest crazy updates in this insane saga. And today we want to talk about Stephen Smith's death in this episode because his story matters too. Previously on the Murdock murders. On June 22nd, huge news broke in this case. I was the first to report that the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, also known as SLED, the same agency investigating the Murdock murders, opened an investigation into the Stephen Smith death. SLED told me that this was based on information gathered during the course of the double homicide investigation of Paul and Maggie Murdock. We don't know what information led them to that position, but it's important to look back on the 2015 case and see what went wrong. So what happened to Stephen Smith? Like the probe of the 2019 boat crash that killed Mallory Beach, the 2015 investigation into Smith's death was chaotic from the beginning, derailed by jurisdictional perplexity and suspicions of investigative interference. Smith was found dead just before 4 a.m. on July 8, 2015. He was found in the middle of Sandy Run Road in Hampton County, South Carolina.
Hi, Miss Monica.
Somebody going to hit it and talk. Somebody going to hit it.
All right, we're getting also headed out that way.
Whatever time deputies arrived, what they found was horrific. I know this because I've seen crime scene photos. Stephen's face was covered in blood. The bright young nursing student was dead. Stephen had a 7-inch gash on the right side of his forehead. His head was warped by blunt force. The family kept the casket open so that people could see what was done to him.
Evidence here, there's only evidence of where the body was found. There's no car parts, no any type of parts to a car or truck or any other vehicle.
A bunch of people, I just left the house the first official time yesterday, and I went into the store, and a bunch of people kept coming up to me and they're like, "Did you know the Murdock boys are behind it?" It's kind of weird. No lawyer sits here and says it'll be free, and you can have whatever money you want.
The rumors that's going around PNC that everybody keeps coming up to me and saying it's Murdock boys.
This name, people associated with this name have been going around kind of threatening or putting the heat on people saying, keep your mouth closed if you heard something, whatever.
First we heard he was shot. Then we heard it was a hit and run. But recently, probably a week ago, week and a half ago, I'd say something like that. I heard that these 2, maybe 3 young men were in a vehicle. They were riding down 601, saw the car on the side of the road. I guess saw the boy walking. They turned back around. I guess they were attempting to, I don't want to say, mess around with it.
The story that this guy right here tells is so detailed. Somebody who had to see this happening told this guy this. Maybe he saw it. Maybe he don't want to say he actually saw it. He's saying that somebody told him the story. But it's so detailed though, y'all, and it lines up with what they found in the investigation. It's weird.
Something like that, and stuck something out the window, and it, hit him in. I don't know if it hit him in the head or the back or where it hit him. And then that's pretty much all I heard. I did hear names, and I heard a name, and that name was, he goes by Buster Murdock.
that's where we left you. Now we're going to continue into the Stephen Smith investigation. A plucky investigator named Todd Proctor is speaking to a man who we are calling Kevin. The date is September 1st, 2015.
I've known Buster pretty much my whole life. Kind of out of character to who I knew. But I did also hear from the same source that he could possibly have been on some type of drugs. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. It's just strictly hearsay from all I know.
Yeah.
And I hate to only be able to give you hearsay, but
well, I mean, at this point, it's kind of, we'll take whatever we can get.
That's right. And I hate it because the main thing is whether that is the case or not the case, there is still somebody that lost a child, lost a brother, lost a family member, and that's not right.
Did they happen to say where they were coming from? Because the story that I got was they were coming from like a softball tournament in Baltimore or Orangeburg or something like that.
It's clear here that Proctor has talked to other people about this rumor, but it's really nowhere in the files. So where did Proctor get this information that these kids were headed from a softball game when they saw Stephen Smith?
What he heard was that they were coming from the Murdock's house, which would be in Moselle, which you have to take 601 to get from Moselle to Hampton, which is where there will be any type of food, restaurants, things like that.
Yeah. That's
the only inclination or idea I would have as to why they were traveling that road.
Yeah.
So,
do you know, would it have been Buster driving?
I would have imagined so. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know, but to know Buster, usually he drove himself around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, he was always the one. They were in his vehicles. He always had friends with him in his vehicles when he was driving around. But that's how it was in school.
And it could be a whole gamut of people that, the other two people that could have been in the car with him.
Yes, sir. I have no idea. The only name that was given to me was the Murdock name. And of course, everybody's kind of shy to say that out, you know what I mean? Because of the, I won't say power, but of the name, it brings a certain standard when you say Murdock in Hampton County.
Yeah.
It was like that all through, school and all. So it's kind of, that's why I feel like it's kind of, I don't want to say hush-hush, but nobody's really.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is that I've heard that they have gone to certain people and told them, you need to kind of keep your mouth closed. Have you heard anything like that? I mean.
Again, there's no record of Proctor talking to anyone else before Kevin about this rumor. So why wasn't this reported in the file?
Exactly. You're doing all these interviews and these people are pretty much saying the same thing. He's doing these interviews, y'all, and he's getting this information, but he's not putting it in the files. He's not putting it in the reports, right?
It wouldn't surprise me just because of, I feel like they wouldn't want anything happen to their reputation or name or anything like that.
This interview is over an hour long. As you can tell, we changed Kevin's voice here, and his name isn't Kevin, and we cut out a lot of pieces that mentions other names. However, we included highlights that we felt were the most important parts of this interview.
Especially for a small town, I mean, stuff like that, that's not something that happens every day in Hampton, and so it's weird.
But, the thing about it is that, when you're in a small town like that, everybody there knows. And like you said, it doesn't happen often. So rumors, the story is going to eventually come.
Oh, that's right. Yes, sir.
And Buster was on our radar long before you were,
Yes, sir.
The Murdocks know that. They know that he's on our radar. So
how do the Murdocks know that Buster is on their radar? What does that even mean? And why?
Come on. They knew because they got probably the damn people at the damn police station on their payroll. Like, honestly, because all these interviews are not being documented. That's how they knew. Hell, they got private numbers to these people that's investigating the damn case.
Why isn't that in the files? There's nothing about Buster being on their radar in the investigation files.
Wow.
It's very strange.
he's on our radar. He has been on our radar. They know that he's on our radar. Matter of fact, I mean, I talked to one of their guys yesterday and told him, you know, I'm gonna talk to Buster here soon, you know, and they said, okay, that's fine. So they're aware of it. And, you know, it's a situation of, you know, I don't have anything against them, but if it happened, like you said, I mean, if it happened.
Kevin and Proctor go back and forth about why this case is different. They talk about how small Hampton is and how rumors fly in a town like that, especially when the rumors involve the most prominent family in the county. And then Kevin starts talking about Moselle, the Murdock family hunting lodge where Paul and Maggie were found murdered 6 years later on June 7th, 2021.
The murders they threw and had big parties at their house.
Yeah.
Once again, that was something I was never part of. I think I went out there one time, but they threw parties every weekend, every other weekend, big parties, kids from Wayne Hampton and kids from Baltimore, Vandenberg, anywhere you could think of, and that was where the party spot was in Hampton.
Yeah.
A lot of fights, alcohol, drugs kind of thrown in there all at the same time. And when I originally heard this, I was thinking of the younger murdered boy, Buster's little brother Paul, because Paul's more the, I'll say troublemaker. But
All right. So when people were hearing about Stephen's death and the Murdock boy's name came up, pretty much most people thought that Paul, the younger boy, Paul, would have been the one to do it because Paul always stayed in some shit. Like, Paul had the reputation. You know, if y'all could remember from previous lives, Buster was the one that went to college, pledged, you know, that the mother doted on and things of that nature. Now, Paul was the rambunctious one. He was the one that stayed in trouble, stayed drunk, stayed doing some shit he had no business doing. So when it came to Stephen's death and the Murdock boy's name came up, pretty much most people felt like Paul was the one that probably had something to do with it.
Proctor and Kevin continue to chit-chat. Kevin tells Proctor about Buster's little brother, Paul.
My last name is Murdock. I can do whatever. You know what I mean?
It went to his head a lot more.
You're right. He was more that type of kid. He's, I don't know how old he is now. I just remember him when he was younger. So when I first heard it, Buster kind of caught me off guard. He's never been that type of person. But then again, like I say, once with alcohol and drugs, I'm sure things can go way out of control when you mix all that together.
Yeah.
So,
Paul, is he like 15, 16, or is he like?
No, I want to say he's Paul's either a junior. I think he's a junior, possibly a senior in high school.
Okay. All right. So he's not that much younger.
No, he's not that much
Paul had a damn reputation as a junior or a senior in high school, y'all. This little thing here had a reputation in high school, not as a young adult. Shit, by the time he was a young adult, he was off the chain. He had a reputation in high school. Okay. Wow.
Younger now that I think about it, because when we were younger, but now that I think about it, he goes to a private school in Ridgeland, Tom Sayward. But actually he's 17, I would say.
Let's see here. Oh, it would be the evil clown. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
What's the dealio?
Would you like to know what my icon means?
God, you know what? I guess. What does it mean, sir?
Okay, so the janitor is baby daddy number 1, Grady. And the second guy is baby daddy number 2, Pepe, the taco stand owner.
Baby daddy of who?
Pam's TV talk show.
Oh wow. Okay. From what I understand, this woman has it out for me, and I
Oh
don't
yeah.
understand why. Because I don't know her.
We're gonna do a live reaction tonight. About to release the promo. A live reaction of her cussing you out.
Oh, goody, goody! Another one, and another one.
And another one.
I don't know this lady, the truth. Who is she?
Remember she talked about Ricky Smiley, talked about Ricky Smiley was happy that his son died.
Right.
So she got upset because you criticized her for saying that.
Well, I did. I don't know if I listen. I don't know if I think I maybe shared a post or did. I did it on my community wall. Okay.
Yes.
I saw a community post that she put up, pretty much shaming this man for how he chose to. For those that don't know, she had put up a community, and if y'all ever seen this woman post, she's a disgusting person. Even though I don't know her, I'ma just say I feel like she's a disgusting person for some of the posts that she put up. But anywho, so I think share her post, and I'm gonna have to go find it. I'm pretty sure you got copies.
Oh yeah.
Screenshots.
Yeah, I got the screenshots of where this started.
Well, I pretty much had an opinion about the fact that she came for this man while he was grieving the loss of his son. She criticized how he chose to grieve. And I was probably, normally I don't like share out or comment on posts of people that I don't know, but I probably was in my feelings that day because for those who don't know, I've been criticized for how I grieve and things of that nature. So I probably was in my feelings that day, and I made a statement about that's disgusting. Like, how could you like? And then you got these people sitting up here talking about sacrifices and all this type of stuff, sacrificing their kids, and I just cannot with these weirdos. So apparently she took offense to that.
Yes, very much.
Oh, okay then. Okay then. Well, that was a long time ago. So where is this delayed reaction coming from, you think?
Because you were on my panel, and that she knows that I'm on your panels. So
and she called in the other day, and the truth cussed out and kicked it down.
And so this is another example of Simon Says. Mm-hmm. This is another example of monkey see, monkey do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then. Well, the thing about it is I'm used to it. I'm built for it. And she's not doing anything that other people aren't doing. I mean, at this point, I'm not surprised.
Oh, you may remember her because she's the one that teamed up with Lardfather, and then all of a sudden they cussed each other out for some reason.
Oh, okay then. Well,
yeah, I'll bring that up too.
I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Discussing her whole life. Her whole life will be tonight.
Oh God,
on display.
This should be interesting.
Very.
Well, seeing as though I don't know the lady, I guess I needed to get a little insight of who she is.
Yeah, and you will.
Okay, great. Damn it, man. I mean, I've never had a bunch of people that's been coming for me that I just don't know. I don't know these people. I had an opinion, just like she has opinions. Like her community wall is disgusting. So I'm gonna say that. I'm not gonna say she's disgusting because I don't know her. Maybe we'll find out more tonight. But I will say that her community wall and some of the posts that she make are disgusting. And I said it, I meant it, and I ain't taking it back. I don't give a fuck what she rants and raves about.
Yeah, I mean her nickname in high school was Fishy Banks.
Oh wow. Okay, great. Well, that's enough for me. Anywho, I can't. Like I said, y'all make sure. Listen, so that's 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central.
Yes, I started putting the 7 Central in because people were getting confused.
Okay.
So I started throwing the 7 Central in there for those that are.
All right, so you're gonna do a promo video, I'm sure, right?
Yes, it's actually perminating right now. Let me check it. Is it ready? Oh, it's ready.
Okay, great. All right, so yeah, y'all be ready. I'll be live back. I'll be live again at 5 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern, and I will be done by the time it's time for D Truth to go on. I may even go a little earlier. It all depends. I got something to do once I end this live, and then or I might just change that live. I'm not for sure, but I definitely will be in the place to be, and y'all make sure y'all do as well. Y'all make sure y'all drop D Truth link, okay? Ebros, keep checking for that promo, and once that promo hits, um, grab that link and put it in the chat for me if you don't mind. Hey, Melissa. Hey, girl. All right, so I don't know. Have you been listening so far today?
No, but I'm pretty much caught up on the case. Are we? We're on the next part of
We're on
Stephen Smith, right?
Part 3, right? And what we're listening to now is like these interviews, right? So it was several interviews that were conducted. Mind you, these interviews were not being documented, right?
Yes, remember the part where I was reading in the paper?
Yeah.
That these people were actually interviewed by the police, but it was never really written down.
Right.
Whenever they mentioned the Murdocks.
Yep.
And
right.
it was never really followed up.
Yep.
And even the boy that said I was in the car when he bashed him in the head with the bat, that was told to the police. Even though it fit the MO of the crime, they didn't even look into it.
Exactly. And I would say it behooves me, but then again, it does not, because you could tell as far as when it came to this situation, it was a whole cover up. And that's why the case went dormant until those Paul and Maggie's murders. And so now they want to try to look into Stevens, which I think is a bunch of bullshit, because the cover up when it came to Stevens' death was disgusting. It was absolutely just pitiful.
Yes, the autopsy results really didn't even add up.
Right. So that was a cover up with the autopsy. So yeah, we'll get into it. We're almost done, and I think after covering this, which is part 3, we're gonna end it until I think I may come back tomorrow with another episode. But I just wanted to get this one in today. But yeah, so let's continue to listen, y'all. Y'all be sure to hit the like button, please, and feel free to support the channel. Thank you, E. Brooks.
17 now. Somewhere along that age.
Yeah.
Kevin asks a few questions about the investigation, and Proctor says something interesting.
I don't know how much you know about law enforcement and things like that, but typically you don't see the highway patrol working a murder. And that's what this is.
Right.
There's no doubt. We're not classifying this as anything other than a murder. Some people are trying to say, oh, they might have got hit by a car and this and that.
So why is the Highway Patrol investigating this? The Highway Patrol does not investigate murders. This shows how mucked up this investigation is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why Hampton County Sheriff's Department is not handling this, and I'll leave it at that.
Yes, sir.
You go back to, like you said, the Murdock name and their ties in that community and that don't matter to me.
Yes,
they don't bother me in the slightest.
Right.
Right. So what we've done is we've taken the investigation out of that, that reach,
right,
and
use something bigger than they can.
That's right. Because they ain't gonna
names or
that's right.
Nothing
I don't care what you got.
Right.
I don't care, what your name is or how much money you got. It don't matter to me.
So we know why the Hampton County Sheriff's Department isn't handling this investigation. Typically, a lot of small town law enforcement agencies give their big murder cases to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, which is also known as SLED, because smaller police departments don't have the resources to investigate murder. So it makes sense as to why the Hampton County Sheriff's Department didn't get this case. But why didn't the Highway Patrol give the case to SLED?
Like you're saying, I'm saying I can't help if it's the truth. It's just got the. Your name can't tell you, but so far.
I'm not saying that the Murdock boy did it because I don't know you.
Right.
But if we're going to start throwing out names, I'm not withholding his name, because of who he His name's gonna be out there.
This is the thing. This is a such in-depth conversation or interview about the Murdocks and the Murdock name and busting pop, but this stuff was not documented.
Because
You know what I'm saying?
this is an outsider looking
So-
in at
she's not
Yeah.
the police, but it's also telling to her that she like, well, y'all telling me all this. How come it ain't police report? Y'all mean y'all told me, but not the police?
well, the thing about
I think
it
that's
is,
the point she's trying to make.
yeah, but the thing about it is, remember, there's a lot of politics in this.
Mhm.
You can't step on other people's toes.
Mm.
And if the state police is investigating it because it's a death on the highway or whatever, and they don't, they weren't treating it as a murder case. So for you to come in and demand the case to be turned over to whatever division he's with, or if he's with the cops at all, it becomes a political thing, and then other people have to get involved.
Mm.
The feds can walk in, but then again, there is a struggle. A lot of times what happens when the feds walk in, the state will go to court to stop them from stepping in.
Wow.
So there's things that happen when someone else tries to investigate something while someone else is because it's kind of a slap in their face that you're saying I'm not doing my job, or that you could do my job better.
Well, the fact of the matter is, with these officials in that little Hampton or whatever that they live in, it's the cover up is just so evident, and I don't know if it was evident at the time with them, but listening to this, it's evident the cover up. You know what I'm saying? So you have to bring somebody else in.
You do, but here's the
Okay,
thing.
love baby, thank you.
When it comes to something like this, dealing with a cover it up, they need to find out how high does this go, and how bad is it going to look on everyone.
Okay.
And then the other factor that goes into play is, if I open this can of worms, every conviction in that town now has to be looked at.
That's facts. That is facts.
So every time anyone's been killed, any arrest, whatever, they all have to be investigated, because they're saying that the town itself, the police department, the town, and now even the state police, what I'm getting is the state police are kind of baffled. Like, why is this a murder or not a murder?
And see, let's remember the fact that the teenagers that was close to Paul and Buster, or Paul, when we was listening to the case about the boat crash, from what they were saying back then, is that Paul has done a lot. Paul has committed other crimes as a teenager that were covered up. Not only Paul, but other members of the family. Like, they were pretty much saying that this family could go around committing crimes and it was covered up, or people were paid off. So that means they will be investigating a whole lot of stuff, huh?
Well, that they were committing a crime in the act of committing this crime.
Right.
Supposedly they were driving around smashing mailboxes and just driving around. Who sober, and Money Boy, who sober drives around smashing mailboxes?
Well, I did see an episode of In the Heat of the Night where that was being done. I'm just saying.
You gonna bring up the Heat of the Night?
Yeah, In the Heat of the Night. That's my show.
That was full of moonshine.
Yeah, they were drinking. They were drinking. They just, at the time that In the Heat of the Night was portrayed and being put on TV, alcohol and drunk driving was not something they would put in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm just saying, you got to think about that. Who drives around sober and said, "There's old Billy Jean's mailbox. Let's."
And they were a bunch of teenagers. They were a bunch of teenagers that were used to getting away with shit.
And they've already established that this group of teenagers would drink whenever they wanted to.
Facts.
Yep. Didn't matter what they were driving. They were drunk.
Exactly. All right, y'all, let's listen to a little bit more.
just like anybody else's name that is on my radar. I don't care who knows it.
So during Kevin's interview, he listed a group of people who he heard the Buster rumor from. One of those people was Jack, who was previously interviewed by Duncan of the Highway Patrol. Jack is the only person to be interviewed more than once by the Highway Patrol in this investigation. He's also facing 2 lawsuits from the Murdock law firm at this time. The date is September 2nd, 2015. This is Proctor calling Jack, whose real name isn't Jack, as we explained in a previous episode.
Thank you, love, baby. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it.
Just go ahead and tell me, what you heard, the version, the story that you heard.
Now, I don't even know if y'all can understand what he's saying, because
they have the worst hiding of voices.
And
who is making this? Is this a 5-year-old? Do they not listen to themselves? Well, Kermit the Frog voice is not very good by hiding. They could look. I have a pitch thing on mine. I could up pitch, down pitch. That's all they have to do.
Yeah.
What the hell are they?
It doesn't have to be honestly distorted. This is
We're gonna use James Earl Jones's voice for this character speaking right now. Jesus, just you can't even understand.
I don't know. Let me see if I can put some closed captions.
Did he say bust his ass?
I don't know, but I'm finna see if I can put some damn.
He sounds like the coach from the Water Boy. Remember the coach of the Water Boy? I'm right there.
I'm gonna see if I can read what he said so I can relay it. Well, damn, the closed caption don't even work, so I don't know. Maybe
the coach can't figure it. Where's Juicy? Maybe Juicy can pick it.
I don't know. Maybe she'll repeat what he's saying. I don't know what this guy is saying.
Proctor then asked Jack where he heard the rumor, and Jack gave him names.
Buster Murdock was on our radar long before we ever got this information that I'm calling you about now. I'm out of my office is out of Charleston. Okay, I don't work around Hampton, and I know that the Murdocks are highfalutin around Hampton, and some people say have a lot of power or whatever, but that name doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, so my job is to find out what happened.
After hanging up with Jack, Proctor calls a girl who Jack named as a person who told him about the rumor. We will call her Kayla. Kayla seems nervous to talk to Proctor, and he gives her the same spiel as he gives everybody else. Kayla then says that another guy, who we will call Isaac, said he heard that Stephen was beat up and thrown out of a truck. This is a different story from what Proctor heard previously. She then said that she doesn't know Isaac's number, but gave Proctor another contact as he attempts to run down the river mill.
And like I said, you're the 9th person that I've talked to so far about this. So hopefully some people are going to start talking. So if you hear anything, this is my number. If you would pass on any information whatsoever.
According to the case file, Proctor has only spoken to 2 other people before Kayla. So where are the notes from the other interviews? Or was he lying to try to get people to talk? Next, Proctor calls Kayla's friend, who we'll refer to as Mia. Mia also seems nervous to talk, but Proctor gets right to the point.
The information that was first given to me was that Buster Murdock and maybe 1 or 2 other people were out that night, and they had saw Stephen's car or whatever. So they went down the road and they actually saw him walking, and they were going to kind of play around with him, and they held something or swung something out of the car and accidentally hit him. Does any of that sound familiar to you?
I do remember someone saying something about Buster, but I didn't really go into details because when we were speaking about, someone told me that it was Buster, and I was like, it was saying to him nothing was going to be done about it because of who he was.
If Buster had something to do with it, then I'd like, to be able to prove that. But the information that I'm getting, it's kind of like it started out strong because I had an individual that really stepped out against the Murdocks and was willing to talk. And then it seems like as I keep, continuing on trying to get other people, it's getting watered down, a pretty good bit.
It seems Proctor is circling the rumor and not getting any closer to the source.
Yeah, so they can play that card of, we care about everybody else, or no, they don't. They care about protecting themselves.
At the end of the interview, in an attempt to get closer to the source of the rumor, Proctor asks for Isaac's number and she gives it to him. But there is no record of Proctor ever calling Isaac. In fact, according to the investigation file, the Highway Patrol didn't touch the case between September 2nd, 2015 and October 20th, 2015.
Wow.
So what happened on October 20th, 2015? Proctor calls Buster Murdock, but the note said he didn't answer, voicemail full. Proctor then emails him. There's no audio recording of his phone call, and that's it. That's the only time that Highway Patrol attempted to talk to Buster Murdock.
Wow. So this guy Proctor is full of shit.
Fast forward to November 17th, 2015. Sandy Smith called the Highway Patrol and said she heard a rumor on the local radio station about an arrest being made in Stephen's case. 2 days later, Proctor calls the radio station and interviews a host. The host really doesn't remember the rumor and doesn't take it seriously.
Have you heard just from rumor being around and being in that business about anybody being involved in this thing?
I did. They said somebody told me, a good friend of mine's son, and I don't know if it's true or not, was the Murdock kid down in Hampton, but that was just a rumor I heard.
Oh, okay.
And that was yesterday now. But again, you got to remember, that's a street rumor now. Allendale Hampton, a street committee.
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard yesterday, and like I say, street talk, once somebody heard it, they asked me, somebody said they confiscated the car and the kid was on house arrest. There are 1,000 rumors flying about this. Because like I say, it's a prominent family in Hampton County.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some people don't like this family. They're friends of mine, but I'm sure people don't like it, and I'm sure they're going to try to take any shot they can take at them.
And that's pretty much the interview. It's a dead lead. Which brings us to November 24th, 2015. The Hampton County Guardian, the local newspaper, published a story by Matt Popovich about Stephen's death. Sandy Smith told the Guardian that she heard rumors about an older man stalking him, but she heard other rumors that she believes more. Quoting directly from the article here, she reiterated several times her opinion that her son was killed for being gay by several local Hampton County youths from prestigious families, which she believes have sworn to protect their children no matter what heinous crime they committed. Sandy would not give the reporter names, but she said that she believed that Stephen would not have been walking on Sandy Run Road in the middle of the night. She didn't buy the hit and run theory at all. She said boys, some of whom were Stephen's classmates, were coming home from a baseball game that night, and they took him from his car. Quote, I hear the same story, but from different people. Everybody knows what happened to my son, but nobody wants to tell me who is responsible, she said. 2 weeks later, on December 7th, 2015, the South Carolina Highway Patrol receives an anonymous tip, and I'm quoting directly from the case file here. Quote, Dontario Aiken, along with another black male and a white male, parentheses, Murdock, are the ones involved in death, end quote. And I'll just say right here in this whole section, we are not changing any names because these names have already been in the media. According to the case file, Duncan then contacted 4 other South Carolina troopers and advised them of the situation. One of those troopers is Todd Proctor. According to the case file, they don't do anything about this tip for a long time. And
wait a minute. So let me go back a little bit. They actually named names here, right?
Of the people that were in the car.
Exactly. Actually named names, and Murdock was one of them. All right, let's listen to that again.
Everybody knows what happened to my son, but nobody wants to tell me who is responsible, she said. 2 weeks later, on December 7th, 2015, the South Carolina Highway Patrol receives an anonymous tip, and I'm quoting directly from the case file here. Quote, Dontario Aiken, along with another black male and a white male, parentheses, Murdock, are the ones involved in death, end quote. And I'll just say right here in this whole section, we are not changing any names because these...
Say that again.
So Paul wasn't there. Because they're saying there was two black males and a white male.
Uh-huh.
And they named the two black males, and then they named Murdock.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul must have been out
even with the
hell
rumors,
somewhere else.
But see, that's the thing. Even with the rumors, everybody's saying Buster. They're not saying Paul. Only thing they're saying about Paul is when they first heard about it, when they said our Murdock boy was involved, they was thinking it was Paul because Paul had the reputation. But all the rumors that's being spread is saying Buster, Buster, Buster. Mm-hmm.
Names have already been in the media. According to the case file, Duncan then contacted 4 other South Carolina troopers and advised them of the situation. One of those troopers is Todd Proctor. According to the case file, they don't do anything about this tip for a long time. And nothing happens until December 18th, 2015, when Proctor receives information from Duncan about a man named Daryl Williams, who says his stepson, Patrick Wilson, told him that Sean Connolly struck and killed Stephen Smith. In Proctor's notes, he said that Williams said his stepson told him this in confidence. Proctor then attempts to go to the school where he...
So they're saying that Murdock didn't hit him.
Uh-huh.
That this other kid did.
Uh-huh.
So remember, another story was Murdock got out and threatened him.
Yep. They said they were saying that Murdock, that the family pretty much was, threatening people and telling people not to say anything. Now, see, with me, to be honest, what ran through my mind when I heard that was somebody was paid off to do that.
To take the blame.
To take the blame. That's
then again, you want to cause confusion because if you have, say,
reasonable doubt.
Yeah, three suspects, and they're each pointing the finger at each other. You need to figure out which one of them actually did it, or charge them all as accessories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't care who did it, but you were all there, so you can all get it.
Right.
You all get it. And, that's the easiest way to do it when you can't figure out who had the bat.
Yeah.
And neither telling on each other. See, that's the thing. That's what usually what the police are hoping for is somebody is going to flip and point the finger at somebody. But then they all start pointing the finger at each other. I didn't do it. He did it. I didn't do it. He did it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you go, what the hell with it? You all go to jail for murder.
Yep. All right, y'all. I think we got 6 more minutes. All right, let's listen. Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate it. Be sure to hit the like button if you don't mind. Also, feel free to support the channel, okay?
He thinks that Patrick Wilson attends, but he's not there. And then Todd Proctor writes something very interesting in the case file. Quote, Mr. Williams stated that the reason that he was passing this information along was because Randy Murdock told him to call.
Did y'all hear that?
There it is. There's the payoff.
I told y'all, and I have not even watched this.
Yes.
The stepdaddy done threw his stepson up under the bus because Randy Murdock told him to.
Remember what the average salary in this town is. It's $32,000 a year.
Wow. Now, for those who don't know, Randy Murdock is the brother.
Yes, and partner.
Of Alec Murdock.
In the law firm, yes.
In the law firm, yes.
So they probably offered him, here's $50,000.
Because why would...
Yeah, that's more money than he makes in a year.
And
he's like, I don't like that bastard anyway. I'm gonna turn my damn stepson in.
I think that's some shit. My God, today. All right, here we go, y'all.
So that brings us to December 21st, 2015. Corporal Duncan at the Highway Patrol interviews Nick Ginn at the Hampton Police Department in reference to, quote, a tip that came in from Sergeant Barnes. This is about Patrick Wilson.
I will be calling him from my office phone here in Charleston. The number to the Hampton Police Department will be 803.
So here, Duncan lists off a number, which he says is the Hampton Police Department's number. But it's not. It's not even close to the Hampton Police Department's phone number. I looked up this number, and that number is actually a local law firm's number, but it's not the Murdock's law firm. This is just really weird. And I only know this because I'm a thorough reporter. I look up each piece of every detail. This takes a lot of time, and it gets very frustrating and often leads me into dark rabbit holes with no results. But sometimes it's worth it, and it gets me closer to the truth.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good. I'm calling you in reference to, I believe somebody come to you about the case we have there in Hampton County.
Now, mind you, this guy is claiming that he's talking to somebody at the police department, but the reporter whose channel this is, she's saying that number does not go to the police department. It actually goes to a law firm, not the Murdocks, but a law firm.
Who is representing who's on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So the lawyer is sitting right across from him, listening to the questions,
Right.
nodding whether to answer or not.
Right.
Okay.
This shit is. Woo!
Because if it had been at the police department, he would be in the interrogation room with a police officer.
Right. Right.
In reference to a hit and run or possible hit and run, somebody claiming that information. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Can you got just a minute I can talk to you about that?
Sure. Let me get a piece of paper here. I'm at somebody else's desk right this second.
Okay.
That way, if I need to write something, I can write it. Give me 1 second.
All right, that'll be fine.
Even if you at somebody else's desk, sir, I'm pretty sure it's a pink. You know what? Let's just this. You put them on hold.
All right, Corporal, you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. Some of our phones have line one, some of them don't. So
All right, I understand.
basically, Daryl called me and he said, "Look," he said, "this is what I was told." He said, "Patrick, come over here to the house." He said he told me that Sean Conway was drunk and hit something. He said he went back the next day to see what it was he had hit, and he seen a lot of police out there. So he talked to one of the cops, and then he had left, and then he learned, I guess by media, that somebody had been killed in that same area. That's why the police were there.
Okay. Well, you think Patrick does he have a criminal background as far as that goes as well? I mean, only reason why I'm asking.
He was charged with attempted murder, but I'm not exactly sure what the circumstances behind that was.
A person with a background. A
Wait
person.
a minute. Wait, this is a kid.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is this a kid in his 20s? Like in his 20s?
Maybe not even in his 20s. Maybe like early
18, 19?
Yeah.
If Buster's 26, it happened 7 years ago, 6 years ago, or no, about 8 years ago. So he's young, and he's already been accused of attempted murder.
Yes.
Wow, that's a little town, boy. They do some shit in there, don't they?
They ain't got nothing else better to do.
A little ass town.
They ain't got nothing else better to do. Wow.
I want to say that was one of them times that they may have charged him a higher charge to work their way down.
Yes, sir. I understand. I understand.
Yeah, but I mean, anytime I ever have any dealings with him, I mean, he's very respectful and stuff like that. But he's a little shady.
To recap, a few weeks after a newspaper story mentioned the possibility of a prominent Hampton County family being involved with Stephen's death, Randy Murdock supposedly told this man to call the highway patrol and tell them a story that suspiciously fits into the police narrative that is supported by no evidence, and that is that Stephen was hit by a car. Now, the highway patrol finds out that one of the kids who was supposedly involved in killing Stephen was recently charged with attempted murder. There's a lot more to the Patrick Wilson case. and this interview, but we're going to save it for the next episode. Check out my story at bitsnews.com.
All right, that's it, huh?
Okay, so let's remember something. This is an interview in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
This is 6 years or about 5.5 years after the death.
Mm-hmm.
So now, between the time of the death and this interview, he had been arrested for attempted murder.
Yep.
And now they're throwing him to the wolves because he's already in trouble, and I believe he may be on trial for the attempted murder.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to throw in vehicular manslaughter with the story of, oh, I thought I hit something.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been a deer. I don't know. I didn't know. At the time, I didn't know if I hit it, but I think I hit it. And then when I went back, I saw a bunch of police officers and I got scared. I said something to the cop, but I left.
Facts.
So instead of the murder, vehicular manslaughter, he may get 3-5 years, maybe.
And I think the stepdaddy was paid off, or maybe even he was paid off. Don't know, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out more in part 4.
Yeah,
y'all.
because I'd be looking at, does he get interviewed for this?
Right.
And if he says the same exact story, but if he goes, the hell you talking about? I ain't hit nobody. I don't remember hitting anybody. But the guy says he talked to a police officer. So now a police officer, it needs to be found that he spoke to. See what I'm saying? But we're talking 6 years earlier or 5 years earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The cop may not even work there anymore. The cop's like, a whole bunch of people talked to me. I don't remember. That was 5 years. See, that's what happens when you allow these things to stretch. And there's no movement. Just like I say, when there's a mistrial and they go to retry the person. Well, you don't know if that person's willing to get on the stand again.
Yep.
You don't know if that person died. You don't know if that person disappeared. You don't know if the person moved or whatever. All these things.
Evidence come up missing and all type of shit.
Yeah, I mean, you got baggies sitting in boxes. They can't even find the boxes half the time.
Yep.
Oh, a water pipe broke and a whole bunch of shit got messed up. All these things happen.
Yep.
So when you go to something like this, and now it's 5 years later, if I was the Smith family, I would be suing the state, the police departments for just delaying all this and never finding the real killer.
I'm pretty sure that lady's gonna do something because his mama saying that she's relentless, baby. She is relentless. She ain't going. She is not going. And I guess maybe depending on the investigation and what it turns up, I don't know. But like I say, she ain't going.
Well, that's why a lot of times, if you think there's a cover up and you get back, say, a cell phone from evidence, you take it to a forensic person that can look into the phone and see if anything was deleted by the police.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's a cover up and they had the phone, you can rest assured things are being deleted from that phone that they don't want you to know.
It's just like with this cop doing all these interviews and supposedly taking all these notes, but none of the shit is in the files. Like, honestly.
Well, I'd love to find out how much the cops are making in that town, because they probably got 6 cops, if that.
So they probably making more money for the Murdock family than they are on the payroll.
That's what I'm saying. What are they making per year as a cop in that town? I would love to know, because those poor little, I mean, they call us Barney Fife, but I'm just saying, you got the Barney Fife police department making $46,000 a year. And you got this guy who's handed out money. Who do you think, And then the town, to say that, I mean, this lady said the town average is $32,000 a year. I spend that in gas.
Damn. All right, y'all. So listen, I was gonna wait till the next time to start part 4, but since it's so long, I'm gonna start it now so we can be able to finish it in the next live. And I have 30 more minutes left because I always allot like at least 2 hours for these lives. And I'm honestly wanting to see what this young man says, if he's gonna be interviewed and what he has to say. So maybe they'll get into it like in the next 20 minutes or so because I'm gonna get off of here in 2 hours. So let's start part 4, y'all. Let's start part 4. All right. I know we're not going to be able to finish it, but let's start it. All right.
I don't know who killed Stephen Smith, but I know his family has now waited 2,316 days to get justice. And now, after a particularly painful few months for the Smith family, I'm more determined than ever to get answers for them. My name is Mandy Matney. I'm the news director for FitzNews.com, and I've been investigating the Murdock family for more than 2.5 years now. And this is the Murdock Murders Podcast. Previously on the Murdock murders. On June 22nd, huge news broke in this case. I was the first to report that the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, also known as SLED, the same agency investigating the Murdock murders, opened an investigation into the Stephen Smith death. SLED told me that this was based on information gathered during the course of the double homicide investigation of Paul and Maggie Murdock. So what happened to Stephen Smith? Like the probe of the 2019 boat crash that killed Mallory Beach, the 2015 investigation into Smith's death was chaotic from the beginning, derailed by jurisdictional perplexity and suspicions of investigative interference. Smith was found dead just before 4 a.m. on July 8, 2015. He was found in the middle of Sandy Run Road in Hampton County, South Carolina. Stephen had a 7-inch gash on the right side of his forehead. His head was warped by blunt force. The family kept the casket open so that people could see what was done to him.
Evidence here, there's only evidence of where the body was found. There's no car parts, no any type of parts to a car or truck or any other vehicle.
A bunch of people, I just left the house the first official time yesterday, and I went into the store, and a bunch of people kept coming up to me and they're like, "Did you know the Murdock boys are behind it?"
The rumors that's going around Hampton that everybody keeps coming up to me and saying it's Murdock boys.
This name, people associated with this name have been going around kind of threatening or putting the heat on people, saying, keep your mouth closed if you heard something, whatever.
First we heard he was shot, then we heard it was a hit and run, but recently, probably a week and a half ago, I'd say something like that, I heard that these 2, maybe 3 young men were in a vehicle. They were riding down 601, saw the car on the side of the road. I guess saw the boy walking. They turned back around. I guess they were attempting to, I don't want to say, mess around with him or something like that, and stuck something out the window and it, hit him in, I don't know if it hit him in the head or back or where it hit him. And then that's pretty much all I heard. I did hear names, and I heard a name. That name was, he goes by Buster Murdock.
Buster was on our radar long before you were,
Yes, sir.
The Murdocks know that. They know that he's on our radar. I don't have anything against them, but if it happened, like you said, if it happened.
On December 7th, 2015, the South Carolina Highway Patrol receives an anonymous tip, and I'm quoting directly from the case file here. Quote, Dontario Aiken, along with another black male and a white male, parentheses, Murdock, are the ones involved in death. End quote. December 18th, 2015, Proctor receives information from Duncan about a man named Daryl Williams who says his stepson, Patrick Wilson, told him that Sean Connolly struck and killed Stephen Smith. And then Todd Proctor writes something very interesting in the case file. Quote, Mr. Williams stated that the reason that he was passing this information along was because Randy Murdock told him to call. So that brings us to December 21st, 2015. Corporal Duncan at the Highway Patrol interviews Nick Ginn of the Hampton Police Department in reference to, quote, a tip that came in from Sergeant Barnes. This is about Patrick Wilson. To recap, a few weeks after a newspaper story mentioned the possibility of a prominent...
When was this? When did you say the interview took place? Was it 2015 or was it 2021?
Let's go back.
I thought I heard her say 2015.
I thought she said 2015 too.
It was the incident in 2015, but the interview was later.
All right, let's see.
I told him to call. So that brings us to December 21st, 2015. Corporal Duncan at the Highway Patrol interviews Nick Ginn of the
2015.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought she said that the interview was in December, which is 2 months, or actually a few months after the murder.
Yeah.
From a tip that was sent in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. I was a little confused.
Police Department in reference to, quote, a tip that came in from Sergeant Barnes. This is about Patrick Wilson. To recap, a few weeks after a newspaper story mentioned the possibility of a prominent Hampton County family being involved with Stephen's death, Randy Murdock supposedly told this man to call the Highway Patrol and tell them a story that suspiciously fits into the police narrative that is supported by no evidence, and that is that Stephen was hit by a car. In this episode, we're going to take you through the last few months of the initial investigation to show you where police were at when the case went cold in 2016. We highly suggest you going back and listening to episodes 2, 4, and 9 for this one to make a whole lot more sense. In our last episode on the Stephen Smith investigation, we teased an interview between Corporal Michael E. Duncan of the Highway Patrol and Nick Ginn of the Hampton Police Department.
This case that we've got, I'll go over a little bit about. We've got some information, about certain things, and this was a tip that was given to us from, I believe, Patrick Wilson. It's a he said, she said deal that we gathered that information so far. And I believe this come from is it a Darren Williams? Is that correct?
It's Daryl.
Daryl Williams. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know Daryl?
Yes.
Okay. How do you?
He is my stepdad technically.
Okay. All right. And
so this is the young man. This is the young man.
Patrick Wilson. It's a he said, she said deal that we gathered that information so far. And I believe this come from is it a Darren Williams? Is that correct?
It's Daryl.
Daryl Williams. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know Daryl?
Yes.
Okay. How do you?
He is my stepdad technically.
Okay. All right. And supposedly Patrick Wilson told him this information about.
Right. Daryl was dating Patrick's mama.
Okay.
So Patrick's kind of looked at him as a father figure, over the past.
No, I'm confused. This is not. Did you hear who this is talking? I don't want to have to go back.
He didn't say his stepdaddy. He said my stepdaddy, didn't he?
That's what I thought. That's why I'm confused. All right, I'm gonna have to go back. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I think he said that. I could have swore he said.
He said he's my stepdad technically.
My stepdad. So
Okay.
that makes the guy accused your brother? I'm confused.
That's all right. Cause I refuse to get confused this early in the game.
I heard it too. Technically, my stepdad. I'm like, technically. Okay.
All right. Let's see. I went back, y'all. I'm sorry. We're gonna be through in 15 minutes, y'all.
Highly suggest you going back and listening to episodes 2, 4, and 9 for this one to make a whole lot more sense. In our last episode on the Stephen Smith investigation, we teased an interview between Corporal Michael E. Duncan of the Highway Patrol and Nick Ginn of the Hampton Police Department.
This case that we've got, I'll go to.
Okay, so this says Corporal Michael E. Duncan, Highway Patrol, interviewing Nick Ginn, Hampton Police Department. Yes. So this is okay. So this is what we had already heard.
That guy that we keep hearing, is supposedly talking to Nick Ginn, whatever, and is Nick is the kid that supposedly hit him?
No. Nick Ginn is the Hampton Police Department. See, this is Michael Duncan of the Highway Patrol, who's full of shit. Because all these interviews is not even documented. But anyway, he's interviewing Nick Ginn of the Hampton Police Department. Remember the whole he was supposedly calling the police department, but was actually calling the lawyer's office. This is that, I think. All right.
But we've got some information, about certain things, and this was a tip that was given to us from, I believe, Patrick Wilson. It's a he said, she said deal that we've gathered that information so far. And I believe this come from is it a Darren Williams? Is that correct?
It's Daryl.
Daryl Williams. Okay.
Yep.
And do you know Daryl?
Yes.
Okay. How do you?
He is my stepdad, technically.
Okay.
This guy's not talking to no Nick Ginn. Why would Nick Ginn say he's my stepdad technically? Did y'all not hear that? On the screen, it says this interview is Corporal Michael E. Duncan, Highway Patrol, interviewing Nick Ginn, Hampton Police Department. Now listen to the switch up. This is weird.
Come from is it a Darren Williams? Is that correct?
It's Daryl.
Daryl Williams. Okay.
Yep.
And do you know Daryl?
Yes.
Okay. How do you?
He is my stepdad, technically.
Okay. All right. And supposedly,
well, it is a small town. It is a small town. I mean,
but this is supposed to be one police officer talking to another police officer who's okay. Listen, this is supposed to be Michael E. Duncan of the Highway Patrol talking to Nick Ginn of the Hampton Police Department about the young man.
Yes, but it is a small town. There might be cousins married in that small town.
You know what?
I'm just saying. Could be somebody's cousin married somebody's brother, and their brother's cousins with the father. It could be all. It's a small town.
My God!
Not a big gene pool going on in there. So
it's all intertwined. It's all.
Could be some uncle fuckers there.
You know what? Shut up.
Definitely can be plenty of uncle fuckers.
Oh my God!
Especially in South Carolina.
Oh Lord. Okay. Listen.
This information about
Daryl was dating Patrick's mama.
But now it done switch over to him talking like he the police officer telling Duncan about Daryl, who is the stepdad, and the stepson. This is not making sense.
No, okay. So here it is. I'm gonna wrap it up. He's his stepdaddy, but Daryl was dating that kid's mother. So maybe his daddy, his stepdad divorced his mom, because he said technically. So maybe his mom divorced Daryl, and now Daryl is dating that guy's mother.
You know what? Mm-mm.
I mean,
listen, because I can't.
you know, when the hoedown starts, there's not very many to choose from.
Oh
So,
gosh.
you know, they
Oh,
doing, and they only got a few people to choose from.
where is your charger? Is it in your purse? Where's your purse? Okay, well, I haven't seen it today. Where did you put it when you came?
About,
Right. Daryl was dating Patrick's mama.
okay.
So Patrick's kind of looked at him as a father figure, you know, over the past, I don't know exactly how long they were together, but basically he just looked at him as a father figure. He came fishing and hunting and things of that such. So.
Okay. Can you tell me what was told to you? We've tried to get in touch with Patrick, but he's kind of avoiding the call, the contact, and all.
So basically, Nick Ginn is sort of kind of related to this young man in a way. I guess. I don't know. This is weird.
Basically, Daryl called me and he said, look, he said, this is what I was told. He said, Patrick, come over here to the house. He said, he told me that Sean Connolly was drunk and hit something. He said he went back the next day to see what it was he had hit, and he seen a lot of police out there. So he talked to one of the cops, and then he had left, and then he learned, I guess by media, that somebody had been killed in that same area. That's why the police were there.
Okay.
So with him telling, he said that Sean called him crying, saying that that's what had happened.
Okay.
And then Patrick was telling Daryl, and Daryl told me that Patrick was crying, telling him, and after he got finished telling the story, he walked outside his house and threw up.
Here, Nick Ginn, who just won a special election in September 2021 for a seat on the Varnville City Council, by the way, is telling Duncan that Patrick Wilson threw up after he told his stepdad that his friend hit Steven with his truck. Why would a teenage boy throw up after telling that story?
Okay.
And he said, Nick, this is just me thinking. He said, but I think that Patrick was with him. He said, why else would he throw up and get all upset like that? Because somebody else, had done something.
Right, right. Did he go into any detail about how it happened? And so,
supposedly he had fixed his mirror. He had patched one of the mirrors up on the truck.
Okay, all right. I pulled all of his records, and I was looking to see, what kind of vehicles they had, and I didn't know if he described basically how he hit him or how, what happened.
It was supposedly the mirror, and I've got, I don't know, I got Mitch. I think I sent him the pictures of the truck that he's driving, and then he would have been driving that night.
Okay, all right.
But I'm pretty sure, I want to say that I sent everything to Mitch.
Mitch?
Yeah,
What the hell kind of Bonnie Fife, Andy Griffin type shit is going on here? You pretty sure, not evidence, supposedly. You think you sent it to this person, maybe, I don't know, I got pictures. Like, what is if this ain't Mayberry?
All right, Truth, I do got to drop down. I got to be somewhere in like 15 minutes.
Go ahead.
I appreciate you.
I'm going to get off in a minute as well. I appreciate you. Thank you for hitting the link.
All right.
All right, see you later on. All right, y'all. I'm going to listen to like a few more minutes, and we're going to get off of here. I'm just intrigued at this point.
Okay. Is that okay?
Because him and my brother and all grew up, and he and I are pretty good friends, and I didn't know exactly who to contact. So my first thing when I got off the phone with Daryl was, all right, Mitch popped in my head, highway patrol. So I called Mitch, and he said he would get that information where it needed to go.
All right, and so basically, just your knowledge of it is a third party, is from what Darren is telling you.
Right. He said he was concerned, and somebody needed to know because somebody's lost a son and stuff like that. And he said that's just something that you don't just sit on if you know anything about it. So
when did he come to you about this? I mean, we got this. Let me see. We got this tip. We got this back on December the 9th, and we've had a couple of people out looking for Patrick. But then my thought was, well, let's just let's see what was told from someone else.
right.
But when did he come to you about that? Do you recall? I mean, he come to us December the 9th.
It hadn't been no longer than 3 weeks.
Okay, all right. And
then I found it was Wednesday, December 9th at 7:58 a.m.
Okay, December 9th. Let me write that down.
That's when I sent it to Mitch. I told him I needed him to contact me ASAP.
Wednesday, December 9th would be just 2 days after the Highway Patrol received a tip that Murdock was involved in Stephen Smith's death. Keep in mind, Duncan is saying here that he received this tip from Trooper Mitch Altman on December 9th. And according to the Highway Patrol's case file, they essentially sat on it until Proctor got word of this tip and tried to track down Patrick Wilson on December 18th. That's 11 days, where it looks like nothing happened. Why would it take so long for them to investigate this tip? And how hard would it be to track down a teenager in a small town?
Exactly. I'm gonna end it right there, y'all, just because I feel like it's just gonna get better, and I'm gonna be late because I hit the wrong button. I have to do something real quick before going live later. But
thank y'all subscribers, thank y'all and the members, thank y'all, thank your Troph for having a good show, Troph.
You're welcome. Oh Lord. Okay, y'all, listen. Okay, I'm gonna come back tomorrow. We're gonna finish up on part 4 and maybe get. I think it's 5 parts, and I'm gonna try to finish up with part 4 and do part 5 on tomorrow. But yeah, y'all, this is a mess. Whew. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get off of here. I appreciate y'all joining me. I appreciate y'all supporting these lives. I really, really do. Hi, beautiful. Huh? What does that mean?
I'm the nicest person.
Oh, she called you mean. Oh, she always calling you mean. Yeah, you mean. You the mean daddy.
What did you do? What did you tell us to do?
To say bye.
Bye!
See, like. All right, y'all, we're gonna get off of here. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the True Sippers. Shout out to my fabulous moderators, and also shout out to my monetary contributors. Thank y'all so much. Listen, today is gorgeous here. Y'all continue to send up prayers for those victims in Mississippi. That it was 23. We was talking about the storms in Mississippi on yesterday. And kind of find out, I got up this morning with it on my brain, and I looked it up, and I think 23 people were killed. And there was a lot of damage. So y'all please pray for the victims in Mississippi. Also continue to pray for our sis, our slave, and also our sis Nina, Sister Nina. So that being said, thank you, Sanjia. Thank you, Tamara. With that being said, we're gonna get out of here. I will see y'all later on in these streets, I'm sure. Y'all be safe, be blessed, never stressed, okay? And y'all enjoy this beautiful day, okay? Prayers up, though, y'all. Prayers up. I love y'all. Thank you, Rice Kate. I see y'all later, okay? Hey, Reggie. Thank you, Reggie. All right, y'all. Y'all be good.
Can I cut it off now?